Hi guys, my name is Adeshion. And today's episode of Mailbox will be addressing different mails from different people from all over the world. With me is
Hello,
So our first mail today is from Dan. Dan is from US. It says dealing with noisy neighbors. Hi, my neighbor's dog bark all night. It's driving me crazy. I tried talking to them, but they ignored it. The constant noise is affecting my sleep and mood. I don't want to cause a problem, but I can't keep living like this. I've thought about filing a noise complaint, but I feel guilty. How can I address this without making it worse? Thank God I'm not the one answering.
So let me take you from this perspective. The fact that you feel guilty already tells you that you're doing the wrong thing. Now, one of the interesting part of this entire conversation is that the narrative will change if at some point the noise of the dog saved you from a potential armed robbery or theft or something. Now, there is always good in every situation, and you've got to begin to change your perspective about everything as far as life is concerned. And that's why the scripture actually says, in whatever it is that you do, ensure that you are living peacefully with people. There is a reason why those things are there. Now, you can win the fight and lose the war. So there is a reason why that dog is there. There is a reason why there is the situation is that way for that particular point in time. And you've got to be thankful to God that that particular thing is there. You know, we've come to realize as far as life is concerned, and I think as we grow older, we begin to see more and more things when we become intolerable with other certain situations that may be beneficial to you in the long run.
Right.
But you, because of your myopic way of seeing things, you might not necessarily like it. You know, so it's important to note that these things are actually, in fact, if you adjust your mindset, you will notice that you will hardly hear the noise of that dog again. It's becoming irritating to you because it's not yours. If it's yours, what would you have done in that particular situation?
Yeah.
So we've got to begin to make adjustments to our lives as to certain things that we call inconveniences and put a bigger picture kind of approach to it. So whatever is inconveniencing you, all right, would have a long-term effect on your life.
Yeah. Okay. So in contribution to what Wale has said, I was about saying, thank God that I'm not the one answering the question, because this is like me, clearly. People filing different complaints about my dog making a whole lot of noise. Now, this is it. It's clear that this person that did this mail is not a lover of dogs. So, I mean, there's a little you can say to people that they really don't like dogs. Once they don't like, whatever you are saying, whether it's being a security dog or is helping, they still don't see that light. But then again, one lesson you should learn is that, you see, the act of being compassionate, it starts from mundane things, like animals, you know, like things that on a normal day you should see the joy they are giving. If you feel that dog is disturbing you, it will keep disturbing you. That's your mindset. Yes. It will always be like that. It will get to a point whereby even you will be frustrated. And that's the truth. So initially, I mean, my people would always say, oh, this dog is a... But now, everybody's even so fond of the dog that they want to know if the dog is not barking. They come and say, I hope all is well. Because ordinarily, the dog has been the security dog for the longest time, and it helps everybody to be alert. You know, sometimes you don't even need to stress yourself. You're already at your entrance. Everybody already knows the dog is already alert. So there are other functions that a dog does that is actually positive to the growth of the community. Stop seeing it like disturbance. Okay, so you want to file a complaint against the dog, and then what would you, at the end of the day, all they can just tell to the occupant of the house is to ensure that you reduce that noise pollution. Or maybe you just even want to talk to your neighbor. Probably there's also a reason why the dog is making it. So sometimes to some people, the positioning of dogs in a home too is quite important. You know that sometimes you don't place a dog in the forefront of a house, because for if it's a security dog, for anybody that passes or whenever they see that trace, they will make noise. That movement. So you know that there's a certain position where you have to pick the dog. Maybe it might also be positively, maybe you need to actually attend to the dog.
Right.
So because they really don't have human language, there are times when they cry or they communicate to us that we don't know. Probably something harmful is even happening to the dog that you are not paying attention to. So I think it's more of dialogue, you know, and over time, that conversation over time, you then get over the issue of the dog. The second mail is from Chinwe. Chinwe is from Nigeria. She said, "Hi, my husband made me quit my job, promised to pay me 50K a month. He reduced it to 20K and then stopped paying, saying he provides food and clothes. I got a new job offering 65K and I told him I'm going back to work. He threatened to kick me out if I do. My sister supports my decision to keep the job. What should I do?"
So first of all, this is a marital conversation, right? And your sister being in the loop of this conversation is a no-no. It's between yourself and your husband, number one. Number two, even if we say we are not in agreement with your husband, he's still your husband. Now, a matter between two consenting and married adults, it's a different conversation entirely. The man remains your head, and that is a given. However, the way and manner in which you deal with your husband is by reporting your husband to God, not to any man. Now, if there is a situation on ground that speaks to a disagreement and you are not comfortable with it, you've got to take that matter even beyond this. It's not a money matter. It's a conversation as to, what do I need to do right now? I really want something. I want it to happen, but I don't get the consent of this particular person who is my husband. And as far as we're concerned, the last time we checked, there is hierarchy when it comes to living with your spouse or with your husband as according to the dictates of God. If you are not born again believers entirely, is a different conversation. But if you are born again, both of you are born again, you've got to respect his decision while you pray that God changes his heart concerning that subject matter. And then once you do that, it becomes easier for him to, at some point, maybe change his mind, at some point, maybe see reason, or both of you actually see reason to why you want to do what it is you want to do. But there is no way you will force your way into making those kind of decisions and you will leave. I mean, that's why there is a conversation about threatening to force you out of the house and all of those things, even if it's not the solution, so to speak, you know, because both parties have rights, they have equal rights, and at the same time, it's important to understand that there is hierarchy that allows you to do certain things or not do certain things.
I also want to believe that there's a fundamental problem in this marriage, because we can't be discussing a job matter and somebody is threatening to kick you out of the house. They look like there are other underlying issues that you guys are not addressing. And there's a way you tell people to go to hell, that they'll look forward to the trip. It means that your modus operandi with your husband is like tug of war. Right. So, I mean, if you're getting a job that is going to be paying you more, the greater good is that is for the family. The truth, there's no man in his right senses that would say you shouldn't go for it. However, the question is, maybe you two, you have some other things that you actually engage yourself in as far as funding or finance is concerned. Maybe you are not as prudent as you think you are, or maybe he sees that you're spending on things that are actually not necessary. However, I still think it's a decision, because strongly it seems you're still in your youth, you want to work, you're active. There's really no reason why any woman should actually be staying home and not work. So that's questionable too. Is it that the guy is autocratic? Is it domineering? Or is it controlling? These are the questions we should begin to talk about. So I think both of you should sit down in love, a Christian home, sit down and trash out this issue. Leave your sister out of it. Whether the job is good or is not good. You can take a 65 job and your life will feel like 0 naira. At the end of the day, you even wish you never had the job. You might take it. Don't forget that it's a home. Sometimes some things you can't detach because it will cause more problem. You'll be coming to meet hellfire. Except you want to be, you are ready to start sleeping in your office of 65,000. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sure there are a lot of bills that should be paid for. I mean, there are a lot of things that should be sorted. So I think you should sit with your heart. This thing is not a one matter. It's marriage. So talk and talk and talk about it. Yes, because let him see the reason why you need extra money. This money is not enough. After all, he's the one in the first place.
It might not necessarily even be about money. It might even be for your mental
That's what
health.
I'm saying. So all this kicking out matter. For a man to actually be speaking to his partner in that manner, then it means that something is wrong. A man will just say, so if you pick the job, I'm going to be kick you out. Where are you kicking yourself out to? So please, madam, calm down. I think, Chinwe, you need to deal this thing and then it's even looking like your sister is adding fuel to the fire. My sister supports my decision to keep the job. So there are other gists that you are running by your sister that is making her, I mean, it's like you want to be disobedient and somebody is foiling it. So I think you should just try and deal it between each other and then speak to God in the place of prayer, communicate, clear-cut communication, no hiding anything, and see how that will go. Give that a try. I think pretty much that's it, Chinwe. The last mail for this episode is from Ayo. Ayo is from Nigeria. It says, risking it all for my business. Good day. I've always dreamed of starting my own business, but I'm terrified of failing. I've saved up some money, but the fear of losing it all holds me back. My family think I should stick to a job to secure a job, but that feels like settling. I don't know if I should take the risk and start my business or keep working my 9 to 5. How do I take the leap without ruining everything?
Okay, so your fear is valid. Your fear of ruining the entire thing is valid. If you didn't even have that fear, we will be worried for you, right? One of the things you do is actually to eliminate fear is to acquire knowledge. So when you acquire knowledge on the subject matter, it becomes a bit more easier. That's why people look for mentors in certain area. If you think there is a transitioning that you need to make from a 9 to 5 to being an entrepreneur, you've got to test those ideas while you're still at your 9 to 5. Don't risk it all completely, because there will be signs that will be given to you that indicates that there is a potential in what you're trying to do. It might be a figment of your imagination. You know, there are quite a number of creative people who are talented and they believe they can do anything and all of that. But while they were, I remembered when I was in a 9 to 5 and I was going to move to entrepreneurship fully. You know, I would think that, you know, where I was I was the one moving the entire thing. I think I was doing, 500 million naira with 5 staff easily. And, I didn't know that there were other things involved. I would see the revenue, but from that's one perspective. Beyond the revenue, tax involved. Right. There is diesel involved. There is paying of all the recurrent expenditure. Quite a number of those things. And I thought that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Now, when moving over, transitioning into an entrepreneur, I saw the light clearly that life is way more than the revenue. There are quite a number of ancillaries that you might be blindsided about. So those things are things that people are looking at and saying to you, and not in a 365 days would you consistently have business. There will be drought season, there will be dry season, there will be seasons where it looks like you are the one raining. Now, all those things are things that you must factor in before you take that leap. All right. And I think all the people who are talking to you are seeing it from that perspective to you, that it's important you consider all the different angles and stuff. So if you consider all of that, then take the leap of faith. If you get the knowledge on those things, you will see your confidence rise to be able to take that particular decision.
Just like you said, so I won't be saying so much. It's a function of balancing this whole thing. He said, I've always dreamed of starting. You can always dream will continue. Dream of Lamborghini, dream of private jets. Your dreams are valid. In fact, God has asked you to ask until he's full. So keep dreaming. It's okay. However, you have to be realistic with your dream. So there must be a balance that you need to strike. And in striking a balance is you doing your 9 to 5 and still giving that dream a try. Sometimes I tell people, passion is not commercial. Sometimes it won't even fuel that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about interior. I like design. But the truth about it matter, I can go all the way, not thinking of, am I making profit or I'm not. But the truth of the reality of things is, reality begins to check in, setting, and their recurrent expenditure. You will be looking at the passion or what you are dreaming about. So you must actually try and error. Give it a try. I'm sure in the process of trying, you will have seen some points and see, oh, this thing is, I'm making a mistake somewhere. I'm doing this somewhere. I'm not doing this somewhere. That way, you can begin to balance. See, it gets to a time in your life that you have to own the narrative. Whether somebody's advising you or somebody's not advising you. That they're advising you to stay in a 9 to 5. It doesn't change anything. That you are thinking of moving, it doesn't change anything. It comes to the reality that this thing that is really, really worrisome, that is bothering me, am I ready? Am I prepared for it? Else, you just find yourself daydreaming on your desk in your 9 to 5. In your 9 to 5. So you have to take it easy with yourself. Try and check both and see that it might not even be time yet for you to actually take. I mean, because people won't stay with work in a place forever. There's a cycle that changes. People come, people go. However, are you ready to face that reality? And pretty much that's about it. So I think we've been able to help Ayo from Nigeria. That will be all for this episode of Mailbox. Until next time, my name is Adesha.
And I remain Wale. Peace.